Did you know there was a woman who lived to be 122 years old? Her name was Jean Comment, one of the longest living people ever recorded. This French woman credited her longevity to using olive oil, laughing a lot, and following a carefree philosophy of life. If there's something you can't change, don't worry about it. Of course, that's just her personal story. But what is the real secret to living a long life? In recent years, scientists have made some fascinating discoveries about aging. Perhaps aging isn't as inevitable as we once thought. Maybe it's a process that can actually be slowed down. Today, we're going to explore these exciting developments. And more importantly, we will talk about what you can do to live a longer and healthier life. Let's begin. The concept of longevity. The word longevity simply means a long life. We all want to spend more time with our loved ones or experience more of the world. And for that, we need a life that's not only long, but also healthy. Thanks to modern medicine and improved living conditions, the average life expectancy has increased significantly over the past century. For example, in the early 1900s, people in many countries typically lived into their 50s. Today, in many parts of the world, life expectancy has reached 70 or even 80 years. But living longer isn't enough on its own. What really matters is living well. That's why the term healthspan has become so important. It refers to the number of years you live free from serious illness or disability. So, why do we age in the first place? Over the years, scientists have developed various theories to explain aging. Today, we have a much broader picture. According to current understanding, aging is driven by several key biological mechanisms. Here are the ones scientists consider most central. Epigenetic changes. Epigenetics is a system that controls when and how your genes are activated without changing the actual DNA code itself. Think of your DNA as a script that stays the same, while epigenetics is like the director deciding which lines are read and when. This system works through chemical tags placed on genes and the way your DNA is packaged inside your cells. These tags turn genes on or off at the right time, so your body functions properly. But as we age, this system begins to break down. Genes might stay switched off when they should be on or the reverse. This can cause cells to malfunction. In a study conducted at Harvard University, researchers artificially disrupted the epigenetic structure in mice, and the mice aged rapidly. But here's the stunning part: when scientists restored the original epigenetic pattern, the signs of aging were reversed. So even if the genetic code remains intact, how it's read can dramatically affect how we age. Telomere shortening. Telomeres are protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes. Imagine them as the plastic tips on shoelaces. Every time a cell divides, these telomeres get a little shorter. Once they reach a critical length, the cell can no longer divide. Because of this, telomere length is considered a kind of biological clock that measures how many times a cell has divided. Research shows a direct link between telomere shortening and cellular aging. Simply put, the longer your telomeres stay intact, the longer your cells can remain youthful. Mitochondrial damage. Mitochondria are known as the powerhouses of our cells. They convert the nutrients we eat into energy. Over time, mitochondria deteriorate. They become less efficient and more prone to damage. This mitochondrial decline is considered a natural part of aging and has been linked to many age-related diseases. As mitochondria break down, cells struggle to produce energy, which reduces our body's ability to repair itself. Additionally, damaged mitochondria contribute to a chronic, low-level inflammation in the body. It's a process scientists now call inflammaging. This inflammation is believed to play a role in many diseases associated with aging. Cellular aging. Senescence. Our cells can't divide endlessly. With each division, the wear and tear, especially telomere shortening, brings them closer to a biological limit. When a cell reaches this limit and can no longer divide, it enters a state called senescence. Senescent cells don't die, but they stop functioning normally. They start releasing harmful signals into their surroundings, such as inflammatory molecules. When we're young, our immune system cleans up these zombie cells. But as we get older, this cleanup becomes less effective, and senescent cells begin to accumulate. This buildup can disrupt tissue function and contribute to chronic diseases. Interestingly, scientists are now studying drugs called senolytics, which aim to clear these aging cells from the body. One review noted that over 20 senolytic drugs have completed or are undergoing clinical trials, with promising early results. So, in the near future, we might see therapies that actually rejuvenate our bodies from the inside out. Genetic factors. The mechanisms we've discussed are just some of the key biological processes behind aging. Of course, genetics also plays a role. Some families with exceptional longevity may have genetic traits that help them age more slowly than average. But when it comes to the general population, studies suggest that genetics accounts for only about 20% of how long we live. The remaining majority, around 80%, comes down to environmental and lifestyle factors. That's actually great news, because it means that you have control over most of what determines your lifespan. Lifestyle tips for a longer life. The key elements of a long life: healthy nutrition, regular exercise, quality sleep, stress management, medical checkups, and social connection. They are like puzzle pieces. When combined, they form a clearer picture of a healthy life. Living long and well isn't just about genes. Our daily habits play a huge role. In fact, it's no exaggeration to say that the little things we do every day can add years to our lives. Scientific research shows that people who adopt certain healthy lifestyle behaviors not only live longer on average, but also enjoy better health throughout those extra years. Here are some of the most strongly linked lifestyle factors to longevity. Healthy and balanced diet. What we eat has a powerful effect on how we age. Studies show that dietary patterns, like the Mediterranean diet rich in plant-based foods, vegetables, fruits, and healthy fats like olive oil, can reduce the risk. These include heart disease, diabetes, and dementia. Eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day can lower the risk of chronic illness. Cutting down on processed foods, added sugars, and trans fats while increasing intake of fish, nuts, and whole grains. This provides the body with essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. These nutrients help repair cell damage and may slow the aging process. Another area of growing research is calorie restriction. Eating slightly fewer calories without malnutrition can activate the body's repair mechanisms and slow biological aging. In one clinical study, healthy adults who reduced their calorie intake by 25% saw their biological aging rate slow by 2 to 3%. This corresponds to a 10 to 15% reduction in the risk of death, similar to the benefits of quitting smoking. Regular physical activity. Movement is like a magic elixir for staying young. Regular exercise protects cardiovascular health, prevents muscle loss, boosts metabolism, and even benefits the brain. Experts recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise per week, like brisk walking. They also suggest adding 1 or 2 days of muscle strengthening activities. Exercise doesn't just extend your lifespan, it extends your health span. The years you remain active and independent. Even people who start exercising in their 70s and 80s show health improvements. Simple activities like balance training and stretching can reduce the risk of falls and improve quality of life. In fact, long-term observational studies have found that regular exercise may be the single most important habit for a long and healthy life. In short, no matter your age, get moving. Sufficient and quality sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. Getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night supports hormonal balance, immune function, and overall health. People who sleep well have a lower risk of chronic disease and better cognitive function. Sleep is also crucial for memory consolidation and clearing out waste from the brain, important for preventing conditions like dementia. Experts recommend keeping a consistent sleep schedule and creating a restful sleep environment, dark, quiet, and cool. Avoiding screens before bed also improves sleep quality. Stress management and positive outlook. Chronic stress wears down the body. It can shrink areas of the brain linked to learning and memory. It also weakens the immune system and increase the risk of heart disease and diabetes. That's why mental well-being is essential for long-term health. Breathing exercises, meditation, spending time in nature, and doing hobbies you enjoy can reduce stress, Seeking professional help when needed is also important. Interestingly, people with an optimistic outlook tend to live longer. Studies show that those who look to the future with hope are more likely to reach age 85 and beyond in good health. While this may partly reflect other healthy habits among optimists, researchers believe positivity has its own direct benefits. In short, your mindset might just be one of the most powerful medicines you have. Strong social connections. Spending time with loved ones and building meaningful friendships is good not only for the soul, but also for the body. Studies have shown that people with strong social ties tend to live longer and healthier lives. In contrast, those who are lonely or socially isolated face higher risks of illness. For instance, people who live alone or feel chronically lonely are significantly more likely to experience heart disease, stroke, depression, and dementia. In fact, loneliness and social isolation have been found to increase the risk of early death by 26 to 29%, a level comparable to smoking or obesity. Why are social bonds so powerful? First, emotional support lowers stress, and we've already seen how damaging stress can be. Second, people with active social lives tend to be physically active too. Think of going for a walk with friends or joining a group activity. Third, the feeling of belonging is a basic human need. When we feel connected, our body stays in a calmer, healthier state. So, maintaining relationships with family, friends, neighbors, and joining activities or volunteering. These habits can both extend your life and make it more enjoyable. Avoiding harmful habits. While healthy behaviors are important, avoiding harmful habits is just as crucial for longevity. Not smoking is one of the biggest factors. Smoking is a well-known cause of many serious illnesses and significantly shortens lifespan. Excessive alcohol consumption also damages multiple organs, from the liver to the heart. It also raises the risk of accidents and early death. Research shows that people who never smoked and drank only minimal amounts of alcohol tend to have a major advantage in long-term health. Maintaining a healthy body weight is also key. Obesity increases the risk of diabetes, heart disease, joint problems, and even certain cancers. If you're carrying excess weight, making changes through better eating and exercise can add years to your life. According to a Harvard study, people with a normal BMI who eat healthy, exercise regularly, don't smoke, and limit alcohol live an average of 14 years longer than those who don't. Even more striking, these individuals weren't just living longer, they spent their final years in better health, with fewer illnesses. The takeaway: the elixir of life isn't found in a miracle pill, it's hidden in our everyday habits. Environmental factors. The environment we live in also plays a big role in our health. Clean water, hygiene, and access to healthcare are vital, but so are air quality, toxins, and general surroundings. For example, a major data analysis found that people living in areas with high air pollution live, on average, 2.7 years shorter than those breathing cleaner air. If the world met the air quality guidelines of the World Health Organization, global life expectancy could increase by nearly 2 years. This shows just how critical the environment is to longevity. Of course, we can't eliminate pollution on our own, but we can take small steps. Avoid outdoor workouts in heavily polluted areas. Spend time in green spaces. Ensure good ventilation indoors. Also, stay aware of hidden dangers like tobacco smoke, radon gas, and excess humidity at home. Even sunlight, though necessary for bone health and vitamin D, must be balanced. Too much can age the skin or increase cancer risk. So, protecting your skin while still getting moderate sun exposure is key. In short, creating a healthier environment or seeking out healthier spaces can pay off in the long run. Recent scientific discoveries and breakthroughs, extending the human lifespan and slowing down aging has become something of a holy grail in science. Since the early 2020s, dozens of groundbreaking studies have been published and more are on the way. Let's take a look at some of the most exciting post-2020 research that suggests aging might not just be something we accept, but something we can actually treat. Reversing the epigenetic clock. In early 2023, researchers at Harvard Medical School published the results of a 13-year study. They accelerated the aging process in mice by creating small, self-repairing breaks in their DNA mimicking the kinds of damage we accumulate in daily life. As expected, the mice aged faster. But here's the incredible part. When researchers restored the mice's epigenetic structure, many signs of aging were reversed. This was the first major study to show that aging might be triggered by epigenetic disruption, and that it could potentially be reversed. Lead scientist Dr. David Sinclair believes the loss of epigenetic information could be a primary driver of aging. Although these findings are in mice for now, similar experiments are already being conducted on primates. Imagine a future where we could reset how our cells read our DNA without changing the code itself, and remind them to behave young again. That's no longer science fiction. It's a reality unfolding in labs. Yamanaka factors and organ regeneration. Another breakthrough from Dr. Sinclair's lab came in 2020. In this study, mice with aged or damaged optic nerves were treated using Yamanaka factors 3 genes known for their ability to reprogram cells to a younger state. The result, the mice regained their vision. Scientists had reactivated part of the cell's youthful genetic program, repairing the damage and reversing aging in the eye. This was one of the first proofs that a complex organ's function could be restored in aging mammals. Similar approaches are now being tested in the heart, brain, and kidneys. These studies are still in early stages, but they raise big questions. Could we someday repair a heart after a heart attack by rejuvenating its cells? Or reverse Alzheimer's by refreshing brain cells? Of course, such reprogramming must be carefully controlled, and limited cell growth could lead to cancer. That's a challenge scientists are working hard to solve. Calorie restriction and metabolic renewal. For years, calorie restriction was known to extend lifespan in yeast, worms, flies, and mice. But would it work in humans? In 2022, the Calorie clinical trial provided answers. More than 200 healthy adults were divided into 2 groups. One group ate normally, while the other reduced their calorie intake by about 12%, roughly going from 500 to 2,200 calories per day. After 2 years, the calorie-restricted group showed slower biological aging. As measured by epigenetic clocks, the reduction was due to 3%, translating to a 10 to 15% lower risk of death, similar to the benefit of quitting smoking. It also suggests that lifestyle changes can slow aging, even in healthy adults. While calorie restriction isn't for everyone, other methods like intermittent fasting or 5-to-2 diets may provide similar effects, without constant hunger. In short, the old saying, "Eat less, live longer," might have a real scientific basis. New drugs and therapies. Some drugs already on the market may have anti-aging effects. For example, rapamycin, used in immune disorders and some cancers, has extended lifespan by 10 to 20% in mice. Human trials are now exploring safe, low doses of rapamycin for middle-aged adults. Another promising candidate is metformin, a diabetes drug that might reduce age-related disease even in non-diabetic people. The large-scale TAME study aims to test whether metformin can delay aging in healthy individuals. Also on the horizon are senolytic drugs, which aim to remove aging senescent cells from the body. Early trials in humans with age-related conditions like lung fibrosis and arthritis are already underway. In animal studies, senolytics improved physical performance in older mice. Researchers are hopeful these results will carry over to humans. Gene therapies and CRISPR. Advances in gene editing technologies, especially CRISPR-Cas9, have opened new doors. In longevity science, can we identify and modify specific longevity genes to extend life? In animals, scientists have altered genes like IGF-1 regulators and sirtuins to achieve longer lifespans. In humans, gene editing is still ethically and medically complex, but the field is moving fast. One day, we may be able to rewrite our biological aging program at the genetic level. Longevity records and limits. Beyond science, longevity records themselves are fascinating. As we mentioned earlier, Gene Comment holds the verified human longevity record at 122 years. Researchers are studying people who reach 110 plus, so-called supercentenarians, to learn what sets them apart. It turns out that living to 80 or 90 is often about lifestyle, but getting to 110, may also involve rare genetic traits. Some of these individuals avoid disease despite having risk factors. Their bodies may be unusually resilient. Scientists are also exploring whether human lifespan has an upper limit. Many models suggest a range of 120 to 130 years. But each new longevity record challenges those assumptions. With better science and medicine, even these limits may one day shift. Final thoughts. Modern science is sending us a clear message. First, we're beginning to understand aging down to our cells, our genes, and our metabolism. Second, we don't have to wait for the next breakthrough. We already know what works. Eat well, move your body, get enough sleep, manage your stress, stay socially connected, don't smoke. These simple principles, backed by decades of research, can add 10 to 15 healthy years to your life starting today. And with promising new therapies on the horizon, that number may grow even more. Conclusio. Living a long life is like solving a puzzle. Yes, genetics matter, but so do your lifestyle, your environment, and your mindset. When we say longevity is possible and you can make it happen, we're not exaggerating. Making small choices, quitting smoking, walking 30 minutes a day, eating more greens can make a real statistical difference. And those added years aren't just numbers. They're time filled with energy, connection, and meaning. Ask yourself, what am I doing already? What could I improve? It's never too late. Even people in their 60s or 70s benefit from lifestyle changes. But the earlier you start, the better, because aging begins while you're still young. Every good decision you make today is an investment in a longer, healthier tomorrow. And remember, living longer is only half the goal. Living deeply is the other half. Let's wrap up with a principle many longevity scientists agree on. Don't just keep doing what you've always done, do better. If you're on a healthy path, keep going. If not, take a step, any step. Because every step moves you closer to a longer, fuller life. And never forget, getting older is inevitable. But aging can be a choice. Wishing you health, happiness, and a long, meaningful journey ahead. If you found something helpful in this video, know that this is just the beginning. Because longevity isn't earned in a single day. It's shaped by the choices you make every day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. In the coming weeks, we'll dive even deeper, from the latest technologies aiming to reverse aging, to the hidden lifestyle secrets of the blue zones. If you want to join me on this journey, make sure to turn on the notification bell and drop a comment. What's the one thing you focus on most for a long life? Maybe your words will inspire someone else. Remember, every breath is a new beginning. See you next time.